these species like been described like back when Seuss was like writing and illustrating these? Because there's a they look a lot
he's just like I predicted all of this.
Yeah.
I
He was
knew.
ahead of his time.
I knew it was there.
somewhere.
I mean, deep sea corals have been known for a while because of dredging, but I don't think that I just combined trawling and dredging. Anyways, because they weren't coming up in like whole pieces. Like it wasn't like you could see it as you see it on the seafloor. They look a lot different on the surface. So, yeah, no, I think you
Especially
just really
when
had
mixed
to.
up with rocks and other things.
Right.
It's certainly not like the glory of seeing them in situ down
No,
here.
yeah, it's not the same.
Was it Dr. Seuss who got like turned down by
Everybody.
like by everybody, you know, and then I think it was Dr. Seuss, and then like he ran into a friend on the street after he was like ready to totally give up, and it turned out he was like, oh, I'm in child publishing.
What?
There's a lesson in there.
Talk to your friends.
The places you'll go.
Those places you'll go.
On point.
That was good.
Something broke inside my brain, and I've just been saying too many puns
You
recently.
have been
It's crazy.
you have been the
something
pun
clicked.
queen lately.
Something fixed, yeah.
something feels like it broke.
Okay,
Something like
Marley, we're
slotted
gonna
into
zoom
place.
in.
Speaking of puns, there are quite a few peduncle puns coming through for the potential names
So
of our
I
seamount.
Wonder
really?
if this might be a young type of Iridogorgia, because you can see it's
Yeah,
the branches are whirling,
definitely.
and the top of it really has a bit of a spiral. It's just dead. So I have a feeling that's just a more juvenile than some of the really long ones we've been seeing.
It's got the little shrimp associate.
Yeah, those little mysids like to hang out around corals.
What are they called?
Mysid shrimp?
Mysid shrimp?
Yeah.
Not gonna remember that. I'm gonna call them mouse shrimp. Stick.
Mouse.
Mysid.
Full wide.
And usually the intense spiraling doesn't happen until like later on in the stock. So that what you were saying, where they would kind of move up, the branches would move up. That kind of makes sense, I guess.
Jess, you're the only one who's gonna know what I'm talking about. But you know, like when you've started forward after you've called for a full wide, and they come full wide, and then when they bump in just a little bit, it's like hitting the boosters.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're going way faster than yours.
Yeah. Hyper speed. Woo. Yeah.
I get to laugh at
pretty.
myself because, you know, I'll still like, just now I was like, whoa, Park's really moving.
Something happened to our thrusters. These are really efficient.
What is that to the...
Yeah.
Another
What a nice little
Oh, that's a
sea
sea pen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see
Oh.
if I can.
The pink guy?
Yeah. It's a fluffy
Kind of nice
sea
with the
pen.
sea lilies around it, framing it.
What was that?
And the corals.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sea pen's got that good peduncle, well anchored.
It's a pretty big one. That's 10 centimeters there. So height-wise, probably, what, 30-ish?
Yeah. Well grounded. Lots of support.
It's beautiful, the color of that.
Okay, Marley.
Going in?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. That's really
I can see
cool.
a little shrimp. I see a little
Oh, yeah,
shrimp
there's a
in
little
there.
shrimp.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Camouflage.
Just kind of like 2 o'clock hanging out up in there.
All right, Marley, let's come out just a little bit. We'll get just the whole organism in the shot. And hold there.
Science, I got a really good question here about how, you know, the
Can I call the
polyps
lasers real quick?
get released,
Sure.
and how do we go from reproduction to a whole new coral?
Sorry, say that again.
How do we move from the reproductive cells on a sea pen like this to get a
Like
new
it's actually
colony?
rotating.
So
Yeah.
a lot of corals,
All right, Morley, let's come
there's
full
two
line.
kinds of reproductive, other than like asexual, where they would just be like, a part of it would break off and it would continue to grow, which would be the same,
And lasers back on, please, Jess.
which would be the same
Thank you.
colony essentially. But you have brooders, so those brood their eggs internally, and the fertilization happens internally. And then there's spawners, so those release sperm and egg into the water column. I don't know exactly for sea pens what they do, but essentially the larvae for a coral, whether it's a brooder or a spawner, is going to float around in the water column for a while, and then it'll settle on a substrate if it happens to settle on something suitable, and it'll grow a new coral there.
You said it's got the eggs internally that it's brooding. So does it just have to hope that like another coral sperm
Swimming
comes by?
crinoid.
Swimming crinoid.
Oh, these are beautiful. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh,
All
I
right,
love it.
video.
Yeah,
Your
get
thing.
that.
Wow.
More.
That guy.
Zoom. Yes.
Oh, that's one of the feathery ones.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
Look at that purple.
The coordination is so
That
different
is
than any other
incredible.
locomotion.
It's incredible.
Man, that purple is wonderful.
Yeah, really.
Oh man.
Just out of the frame.
Just.
Oh, coming back in.
Oh,
He's like, no,
yes.
you're not
Friendly.
done with me.
I'm working it.
Look
Yeah,
at
he's
me.
getting
Look at my
moved by the
magic.
current a bunch. All right, full wide. We want to
Nice.
make sure that we do not.
Thrust.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Imagine
rest.
parachuting.
Gonna rest now. Too tired.
Oh, I want to see it just like grab the rock.
Right?
See,
That was cool.
that was
That was
super
cool.
cool.
I think he's on our porch.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, really?
So
Not-
So for what Holly was asking earlier, right before we saw that amazing crinoid,
oh, never mind. Because he went under the porch.
a lot of coral spawning is like there's something internal where they spawn at the same time.
Okay.
And so for shallow water, it's thought to be like mostly lunar cycle. So people understand those reproductive
Okay.
cycles.
Right.
But for deep water, we don't really know what the triggers are
Okay.
for
yeah,
reproduction. And that's why there's a few people in the world that study like the reproductive, the gonads essentially of corals, but there's just not a lot
Yeah.
that's been done yet.
I want to know how
It's
he
such like a new
attaches the
field.
things.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really difficult to study because
detaches.
they're not always gravid, so they don't always have gonads
Yeah.
when you bring them up to the surface. So it takes kind of a bit of luck
Yeah.
in finding ones that do, and they have to be preserved in a certain way. So in formalin, not in ethanol, which is what we use for most preservation methods.
Okay.
Might have a handoff soon.
So
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of like microscope work to really look at those structures.
Ah.
Because this would be the feature of concern, this part.
I think we'll be okay for that.
Okay,
Because, like, we're going to be probably coming in more in this flatter area.
got it.
Can always come up.
So when we were looking at that, the guy just now.
The crinoid.
The crinoid, sorry. Just totally blanked out of my head.
Oh, for crying out loud.
You guys can't. Crinoid. Oh. I was making the motion of the
pretty
crinoid swimming there, so.
I cannot claim that one as an original.
I'm
That's
glad
a good
you
one, though.
propagated it.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Like the groans in the back.
Holly, we're streaming the science back row, so if you need to, you can just use sign language.
Are we really?
There's a,
She's like,
you see the red
"Oh,
light?
no."
Wave to the world.
Oh.
Or rather, crinoid to the world.
I had no idea. That's good to know.
All these hours.
So what did the crinoid look like?
So the
Yeah.
it looked like this. And so those feathery arms, though, are what it uses to collect food, though, right?
Yeah.
That,
Yep.
That's filter feeding. So it's got the little fingers on those arms that it's using to then sort of
bring
filter
it
the
down,
food back
yeah.
down into its mouth.
Yeah.
To break it down.
Yeah. Bring it in.
Bring it in.
Bring it in.
Take it home.
Yeah, and it's the same for both the stocked and the unstocked ones as far as them using those arms for feeding. It's just stocked. They have that mobility to
I don't know. I think
to
that's
hop
me,
around,
not you.
swim around like that.
I know. It means that
But it must be energetically, like extremely energetically. What am I trying to say? It must take a lot of energy.
Yeah.
The locomotion must
Yeah,
be
to move
constant.
Yeah.
around like that.
Energetically intensive.
There we go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all a water vascular system they're using to move their arms like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because they're echinoderms. Yeah.
It's like our
They must have
hydraulics.
some muscles,
Yeah.
you know, that also. But there's very little tissue on crinoids when you have to, like, try and get DNA from them.
Yeah.
They're really not great for that. Yeah, I want some dinner. I'll be back.
Hello again. I steal some candies here. I don't know, I didn't look yet. What? Well, that's not very good. I'm supposed to look and tell you so that you can think about it, decide.
Some people like a surprise, though.
Yeah. I don't know, that's what you prefer for tomorrow.
if I
time.
get
You want
the
information
surprise or
not?
no
You
surprise.
don't know what you're getting for Christmas?
Well, and you put it that way. I always get coal, so you know what I'm saying.
We've had a couple of requests now for an actual extra camera just showing us doing commentary. Feel like I wouldn't have thought our puns would have warranted needing to see our faces.
I think people really enjoy seeing behind the scenes of how this all happens.
Sure, but I think we should probably be hiding in shame for...
Are they that bad, these jokes?
We'll need a
They're
official
glorious
Nautilus
is what
paper
they
bags.
Wait, the jokes from the interweb or ours?
Both.
Okay, I see.
It's a team effort.
Maybe we're just such a good-looking team that we want them to focus on the ocean.
Yeah, we'll just probably drop down when we drop down and drop back up. Slide back up, not drop back up. Wow, Albert.
Are we not stopping between moves?
Nope. Yeah, we're
Cool.
just gonna keep going, kind of just due east, pretty much, and then we're trying to stay relatively along these two contour lines here.
Perfect.
And then we'll go up.
Cool.
No, stop them.
Exploring the rim.
So once we do make our way back up, it's going to be, fairly late for us locally. Do you guys have to start sample prep right away, or we have another shift that gets right to the lab, or do we get to wait till morning?
No, that's like a team effort. We all get together when the vehicle's up. So it's pretty exciting to see what came up, but also it's really important to preserve things when they're on deck, kind of as quickly as we can. And of course, also get ready for the next dive, since the sort of cycle will begin again a few hours later. So although we all have our own watches,
Can we step?
when it comes to sample processing and lab work like that, usually
Thank you.
everybody just kind of comes regardless of their watch time, and we'll do a big effort together to get things done.
One of the things I was surprised to hear when we were just getting prepped for the first dive was the idea of washing down the ROVs for contamination purposes. I was surprised to hear that could potentially be a problem, being that we're really not that, not so far away. Has that been a problem before?
Well, I think on a more, I don't know if somebody could speak more locally, but on a more global scale, the concern of bringing invasives to other areas quickly because of our actions is something that we're trying to kind of limit and minimize the likelihood of us doing something like that. So any tag-alongs on the vehicle will get checked and make sure they're kind of washed off. But I don't know if anybody else knows more about this specific area and the proximity of our dives, how necessary that would be.
I think in this case it's also just because we're going to be in the monument,
Right.
and so we're kind of being extra careful to protect what's there.
No, not really. Okay.
No.
Don't you see that I was driving?
Bye-bye.
Starting to get the old team back together.
Yeah, taking over.
Speaking of invasive species.
Some of their own bad jokes.
We're still here. We're still here.
Yeah, you're
Proud
outnumbered.
for
You are only 3 now.
You're in trouble.
Oh, only 2.
And look, now there are going to be only 2 left, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll recover our SCF.
That's right.
Do we have our whole
So
wash
east is
back in here?
downhill or along it's along a
And like
contour?
driving sideways.
Yeah, we're trying to kind of stay on these contours, I think, and circle around.
Bridge nav, step again, please.
Yes, I can take gauges again.
You just took gauges.
Thank you.
Well, they got them for 5.
Oh, nice.
Oh, she was starting to. I see. Take your bubble cam.
Go for it.
Harley, did you guys see anything cool in the last hour?
Yeah, we saw a really awesome crinoid. Is that how we say that?
Yeah.
It's
The like
purple.
feathery arms.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool shade of purple.
Was it
dancing around?
Swimming?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's really nice.
Those are always so fun to watch.
Bridge nav, step again, please.
Can you give me a zoom video?
Thank you.
Yep. Where are we zooming?
Just in. Okay. There is good. You can push further. I'm just looking at the yellow coral here. Ooh, and somebody spiky right next to him.
Yeah.
Okay, full wide.
So where are we on the seamount now? We were on that like plateau for a while when our watch left. Are we?
We are kind of contouring it around.
Ah, okay.
They went back to the edge once they found the rocky spots where most of the things that we are interested in live.
Mm-hmm.
They started to just go around the seamount and keep
Gotcha.
looking and see what's there.
Cool. Back to Coral Land a little more.
Yeah, so we went to the central summit and then pretty much went due south until we found the rocky edge. And now we're just going counterclockwise around the rim.
Cool. Thanks, Megan.
Zoom video.
Bridge nav. Can we step again, please?
Looking at the rocks here.
Thank you.
What are these spiky guys that we're seeing a lot of now?
Sea urchins, I think.
It's the long-haired urchin.
Yeah, they've got like, their spikes are sort of like, I don't know, like droopy.
They look like they're too long to be effective.
Yeah, not spiky. Okay, full wide video.
Yeah, they're kind of like whiskery almost.
Yeah, too long to actually be mean, basically.
Yeah.
They're just for style.
See one like with a mohawk.
Yeah.
pretty neat feature.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, if we could just pop right a little bit and see if that's a little overhang.
Popping.
I believe that's the technical piloting term.
Yeah. You saw how I used it. Immediately. Octopus like overhangs.
Yep. We've already got 3.
Yeah.
I bet they don't have any.
We have to keep some for the rest.
No, we don't. That is not in the contract.
But we very successfully found the overhang.
Yeah, it is hanging over.
Yep.
Right there. Right there in front of us.
It's hanging.
Any good rocks?
It's cool looking though.
There are a lot of rocks.
They're all the stuff looks
I'd say
attached.
there's some sand on the rock.
But really, sand is just tiny rocks.
Really good point.
Hey, that was in a movie I saw the other day. Oh, the Jim Carrey one. What was it? Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind or something?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
He's
a good one.
yeah, it's pretty good. He's being really depressed at the beginning, and he's just like a curmudgeon. It's like, sand is stupid. It's tiny rocks.
I mean, that's kind of collectively what the science team did at the summit.
Yeah, that's right.
We're like, no, we're not doing this.
Sand is stupid. Gabby likes
So true. That is exactly what happened. Video, can you zoom? Are we just seeing the same yellow coral over and over again?
I think so.
I think so. I mean, we haven't identified it to species level, so it's possible that there's a few different things it could be, but it looks like the same thing. Yeah.
How hard is it to get to species level?
For a lot of these, some people are pretty good at it just by looking at like how the polyps are arranged. But a lot of the time you just have to look at either the like sclerite morphology
Like you need a sample.
Yeah, you need a sample. So that is even like maybe using an electron microscope to look at the really fine scale morphology, or maybe more commonly now using genetics.
Oh, okay.
Just taking some DNA.
Do these guys have like a lot of diversity in their like genetic code? Like, are they like very spread out? Like when you map them? There are lots of different things that happen within the species?
Oh, within species?
Or is it pretty easy to like categorize and isolate? Go full wide.
I'm not the best person to ask that, but in general, when we barcode species, we're looking at specific sites that have mutated pretty rapidly. So even among like relatively recently evolved sister taxa, you might have like 8 nucleotides in this specific DNA sequence that have changed.
Okay.
Within species for these corals, I don't know how much variation there is.
Snap, step again, please.
Can we do a close-up on that fish? Please.
Which fish?
Below the lasers, just in that sand bit.
I got it.
Hidden fish.
It's a
Kinda
hidden
camouflaged.
fish. It sure is. Okay, give me a zoom video.
Oh, it looked like a rock.
Yeah, it really did.
And it's not a rockfish, so.
Not a rockfish.
It's like fish's entire strategy for its whole life. It's like, I hope I look like a rock.
Yeah.
I was doing pretty good.
Was that good?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, full wide. Is that a fish right there? Can you zoom in
Something.
video?
Yeah, the silvery thing.
Yeah, I think so.
You want me to push in, Gabby?
Actually, wait a second. I'm not stable anymore.
Do you want to keep moving or?
Yeah, we can keep the
Bridge
ship
nav,
moving.
step again, please. Thank you.
Kind of looks like a fish we've seen.
Okay, give me a zoom. Yeah, we've seen this guy. This is Doug.
This is what I proposed to be a snake, the snake fish.
You did call it. Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, you had a name for this guy, didn't you? Silver.
Looks
Silver
fast.
Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
He looks fast.
Built for speed.
You guys happy with that?
Yep. Thanks.
Okay, go wide. These fish shots are mainly for like ID, right? So
Yeah,
laser's
so
definitely on.
there's a scientist on shore who is interested in IDing the fish, and for that, having really close, nice images of the head and tail is helpful. So yeah, lasers on for those are good.
It's for Ken Sulak.
Oh, okay.
Bridge nav, step again, please. Thank you.
So pebbly stuff.
I know, that's cool, huh? Video, can you give me a zoom? I just kind of want to look at this.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild change in like rock size.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are tiny.
Looks like lots of little shells from something.
Huh.
It's interesting that
Two.
the substrate changes right at this little outcrop where there's this like slope right above us. I don't think I've seen this on this dive. All these little rocks and then sedimentation.
Yeah, I know. Okay, can you go wide, video? Lovely. Oh, hey, nothing has changed.
That's not true. Come on.
We are still heading east, though I deviated a little because these little rocks were kind of cool. This like blast zone.
Man. It's like rubble fields really are cool.
Bye bye.
So in like 200 meters, we'll start heading a little more northward. Cool.
Sounds groovy.
Groovy.
Groovy, baby.
If you look at the Argus view, you
Ooh,
can really
thank you.
see kind of the distribution of those little rubble
Oh, that's
fields.
cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, definitely some strong flows through here.
Oh.
Ready? Take them all.
Oh, really?
Got to get your lumbar support right.
I know. This is apparently chiropractic to many.
So we're just kind of still scooting around near the top of the seamount right now?
Yep. We're just trying to stay in this rocky band instead of being up on the sand on the summit.
Yeah. How common is it for the seamounts to have like those super flat sandy tops like that?
I mean, I can't give you a percentage. I've seen it pretty commonly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just get eroded down.
Right.
It's maybe, so with the bigger seamounts, it's really common if they used to at some point breach the surface and were islands, then that gets eroded really quickly and then it ends up back below the waves, but flat topped.
That makes a lot of sense because that would track with like what we see with a lot of the islands that still do exist out there.
Yeah.
That used to be seamounts and underwater volcanoes, but now have either they're still an island like Baker and Howland, or they're an atoll like
No, there's more.
Johnston Atoll or Palmyra.
Yep. Yeah, and sometimes you can even see like evidence like of terrestrial beaches and
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I always had assumed that the sedimentation, like extent, was more indicative of the age. Like the older parts have more sedimentation, but it seems like it's more just the geomorphology of the feature and where it settles.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that latter is a little bit more. I mean, if there's enough sediment kicking around, it's going to deposit somewhere, depending on the currents.
And we've talked about this in our last dive with this team, but not so much this one, that these seamounts really are where these equatorial currents are coming and like swirling up around the seamount and like pulling in nutrients and pulling in, really allowing a lot of life to aggregate around these big structures.
It's only me left.
Only you.
So you missed some really cool like rubble fields, Alexis.
Oh.
Yeah, they were really neat.
See if he wants any.
Rock rubble?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, rock rubble.
Did it look like this?
No, it was smaller, like
Oh.
smaller bits of rubble.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like gravel.
Gravel. Yeah, gravel.
One might call it gravel.
Well, I think one would call it gravel.
Well, isn't gravel a very specific
It is a
It
grain
is.
size?
It's a grain
Yeah.
size.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, yeah.
You know, we had a really, Jess is going to roll her eyes. We had a great conversation about the difference between scree
Oh
and
gosh,
tailless.
no. Yes, we did.
I'll
We
leave it
had
at that.
for
I'll
multiple
leave it at
watches
that.
too.
Oh, it was like this. Like if you look at on the Argus cam, you can see sort
Really,
of those,
Megan?
like,
How did
Okay,
that conversation
yeah.
go?
areas of
I think that'll spur Jess.
No, it's good. It's educational and interesting.
She'll suffer for that.
we do have a fish.
Well, we were exploring many little chutes of gravel and rubble and potentially scree. The question was whether or not scree was appropriate to describe broken up rock fragments underwater, or if that was more of a strictly subaerial term. And we were also talking about the difference between talus and scree on land, how people do speak of both existing on land. And I think one nice way to visualize it, if you're somebody that like walks on mountains or something like that, would be going upslope. You would prefer talus because it would be big enough for you to kind of like walk, almost like steps. Not so big, but it wouldn't be like scree where you kind of sink down into it and it'd be kind of like scrambling. Whereas going downhill, you would probably prefer scree because you could run quickly and you wouldn't like break an ankle. But underwater, we don't really use the term scree, and typically we're talking about talus when we're talking about broken up pillow lavas or kind of like rock fragments broken up. And then if there was something smaller, we would refer to it more as rubble or gravel or cobbles or things like that. But it's just like a mess of terminology that we got in great detail with on our searches.
And my experience with talus is in the Cascades, and it was things that I didn't want to cross by myself because I'd probably die trying to cross it because it was loose granite on steep slopes and small enough that it was mobile, and if I tried to cross it, I was probably going to die.
Right.
That was my thought anyway, so I didn't do it.
I know
Part of it does depend on the slope, you know, based on size.
Yep.
The higher the slope, it's more likely to go.
I know it's pretty interchangeable, used like in terms of guides or if you're reading something about where to hike or how to go up some slope.
Yeah.
People often use scree and talus interchangeably, but the big differences I noticed are people being really excited about the upslope or downslope based on talus and scree.
Yeah.
But that's not so scientific, I guess. The bottom line is scree is not in the deep sea.
Yeah, I was going to tell you had to wrap it up quick because Jess was fading pretty fast over here.
No, I was very engaged.
This was a conversation that me and Bob Waters mostly had.
Oh my gosh.
And everybody else was kind of, I think, rolling their eyes.
We were appreciating your guys' enthusiasm.
Do you guys know where
Very
a killer whale
diplomatic.
goes for braces?
Sorry?
Say it
Do
again?
you know where a killer whale goes for braces?
For braces?
For braces.
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 Ortho.
Orthodontist.
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 Oh, no.
Orthodontist.
Ah, there you go.
Nice.
Looks like there's a little bottle brush on the right. A little
Lower right?
fluffy coral
Hi.
to the right of.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just take a look.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look-see.
Okay.
One thing that came up on social media
If
is
you wanna
whether we
train her
should
up, then that's
call
good.
us here in the van DJs
Sure.
or
Go ahead and
CJs,
a little bit their video.
as in SEA.
Why would we be DJs?
Well, just because we have
you go ahead
headsets
and
on
push
and
it
we're
there, please?
narrating things similar to a
Debate of our
DJ.
time.
Video, go ahead and push
I
him
don't.
in,
I don't
please.
like either of those. I
You
think
don't
we
like
got,
CJ?
We need something.
Video, you
something
wanna go ahead
a
and
little
push
bit
him in,
more
please?
like a little more deep.
Someone earlier suggested we would be the Blue Water Comedy Club, which I thought was pretty good.
I'll take it.
Yeah, this is like a Chrysogorgia
Back to the.
Negative pitch forward.
with a squat
I
lobster
believe it's.
inside.
I'm on the end of my leash here. Sorry, guys.
Would this be something we could collect?
I'm going to start
Sure.
bringing us a little north.
Cool.
How much of it do we want to
They're
collect?
gonna collect
Just below
this.
where you see
Oh,
the
okay.
pink guy inside. So we'll get the squat lobster with the
I'm just
coral.
going to stop this.
Sure thing.
Okay.
Do the squat
Getting the
lobsters hang
squat
out in
lobster
there
with
and
the
just
coral.
sort of
I'm just gonna swing it that
opportunistically?
way.
Yeah, it's still
Little bit.
under
You wanna come full wide, please,
under
video?
research.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Come
because
full wide.
People don't
Oh,
really
yeah.
know. Sometimes there's two of them, so it's thought to be a mating pair.
Mm-hmm.
But they,
I like how these are not moving
we don't see them
anywhere
again
near each
on
other.
the seafloor.
What was that blob
So
down
they
there?
somehow find their way to the coral and then they live their life there.
They stay in the coral?
I think so, yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that gray blob down there?
That looks like an urchin.
Urchin test.
It's their
Yeah.
pad.
Cool.
Yeah, a little bit more weight.
It's weird how those two crinoids are like,
I'd probably go.
one is
I'm
struggling.
tempted to just
the
say
other
front
one's
right
doing
off the
really
bat
well.
because, well, usually we have 8. Like 8 was common for a number of years. Right, but we had, yeah, but then we had 6 plus. No, we had 2 stacks of 2. Yeah. So we've been heavier. No, the double stacks have been around since Brennan, like since before Josh. So.
They're working out the ballasting. You're working out the ballasting?
Oh yeah, they can hear my side of the conversation. So.
It's quite fascinating only to hear one half. I agree with Greg because
Greg
of it.
is talking
No,
to himself.
So you guys will be in here for recovery then? So you guys are going to be in here for recovery then? If Avery, oh, sorry.
You guys want to switch off at 50 meters?
Got a little shrimp trying to
We'll
figure
switch
out
off
what's
around
happening.
50 meters.
Oh, who's that swimmy guy?
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, I
Or
don't
is,
know.
I don't know if he's swimming or if that's
Sounds
just.
good.
I think it's
He has
swimming,
very
whatever
long
it is.
legs.
It's just very small.
We're talking about the shrimp?
The shrimp?
Yeah,
Well, there
very
was
long
the shrimp,
legs.
and then there was a couple of other like undulating.
Yeah, we're not
very
talking about
small.
those things.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I missed them, so I couldn't answer your
Oh,
question.
there's a, see that urchin with the really long spines? It's got a tiny
Oh,
test.
Yes.
So you want to look at that before I pull out the claws and disturb them? Go ahead
Yeah,
and
it's
push in
just
their
a
video.
Quick zoom.
Do
So
one
those
more
guys are
disturbing
super
pump.
hard to sample. But
Yeah.
the trick is to do slurp on the lowest amount. And you can just, the spines will keep him from going into the slurp.
Nice.
And you can use it to pick him up and put him into the forward box.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
We're not, are we collecting this guy?
No, we're not
No,
connected.
we're just
Okay.
looking.
All right.
But if one were to.
I can send her up. but
It's just
I'm gonna
something
do
for
a
you to
video soon.
file back in the back of your head for at some point when you do have to collect something like that.
Yeah. Or you can probably center up a bit on that if you want video. Yeah, that's what we were doing. We're trying to take urchin samples with the suction.
Yeah.
And I think one of them almost got lodged in the hose.
Are those spines for feeding? Or
No,
on that urchin? Do we know what they're for?
I think they're just for protection.
For protection.
Yeah. They generally don't crawl with their spines. They have 2 feet for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you
Good
guys all
call.
good
Their
with this
mouth is
urchin?
underneath. Yeah, I think we're good with the urchin.
All right.
Their mouth
Got
is
it.
on the bottom side.
All right.
So they have little
Full wide video.
Coming
teeth
out.
down there.
Yeah. Really? Little teeth?
Yeah, they're little, what is it called? Aristotle's lantern is the mouth parts of a urchin.
You guys want
So
full
the
wide
mouth
all
of
the
the
way to the
urchin is
vignette?
something called
Push it in just a
Aristotle's
little bit?
lantern.
Yeah.
Just the bump in is nice.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for a minute, but I think we're pretty happy where
I
we're
think
at.
we'll be okay.
Can we
okay.
just do some
Yeah.
quick imagery of the coral before we collect it?
Sure.
Me, you
ahead,
want to
push
see
in
it
there
I
before
can
we...
hold off.
Sorry.
You sure you don't want me to hold off?
Yeah, you want to hold position
Yeah.
here, please. Go ahead and push in video, please. And do one bump up. And one bump over. So you said you want it below the associate?
Yeah.
more towards the base, so we grab the associate in this
Yes.
sample.
So what, where are we putting this?
What do we have biobox-wise?
Starboard biobox?
Ugh, gross.
You're muted.
Depending on how big it is, it could go in the small starboard biobox B, which is the second one from the forward. But if it's too big for that, let me quick look through and find one that we can combine it with, because everything else is full. So I'll try and find one we could combine it with.
Right, I know that E just had a rock that we grabbed, unless somebody put something else in it.
Yeah, E has 2 things in it.
2 things, okay. All right, I'm worried more about the quickness, like the ease of the stow, just because of losing, if we want to keep the associate.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, maybe do
so
one chip move back.
E
sorry.
has 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
E has 2 rocks in it, so I'd be comfortable putting it in there.
Okay.
E-
Well, when we get around, if it seems like it would be a quick, easy stow into B, we'll go there, and otherwise we'll go E.
Okay, sounds good.
Copy, Jess?
Yep.
Bravo or Echo?
Bravo or Echo, roger. I'll go for the small, or else if it doesn't fit, I'll go for the big.
Right.
Sounds good.
Because I think it's more important to keep the associate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You guys got your frame grabs here? Video want to come wide, please?
Yeah.
I'm good on grabs. Do you want some
Yeah.
more?
Hey, sorry,
No, I
I'm
think
here.
we're good. Yeah.
Roger, video. Go ahead and come wide, please.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Dwight, you got to be faster next time. No, I'm just saying, if you want to sit in the front row, you got to be faster.
Ha. I see how it is. Ah, yeah. All right, video, go ahead and push in a bit there, please.
Is that good?
A little bit more. I want to be able to see where the associate's at. Yeah, that's great.
And data, just to confirm, this will be sample 16?
No, this is 017.
017, okay, great.
So about here, good for you, Alexis?
Yeah, that looks good.
Nice. You should be free. Yep, you're free. I've got you on bubble on the big screen.
Roger. All right, you want to do one quick zoom in there real quick? Video? Yep. That's great.
Alexis, is that a squat lobster in there?
Yeah, it's a Europe Tychus.
All right, go ahead and come wide there, video. Thank you.
And I'm ready to open the sample tray. You're go.
Yeah, do you want to follow me around on the bubble cam
Yep.
there? Thank you. Go ahead and bump it around open. Is there anything that's floaty in this bin?
There should not be.
Roger.
Okay, sample tray out. And switching to starboard view.
Roger, thank you. So Echo is what we decided on?
Echo's the front one, yeah.
Chip a bit.
All right, you still have the associate, so you're good.
Roger. I'm getting stuck myself.
Yeah, you gotta come up more on your wrist.
Yeah. There we go. It's funny how sometimes you just need to reset your brain for a second there, huh?
If you're comfortable, since we're over the box and we still have the associate, if you want to try to do the dump into B, I can bump the box out.
Roger.
All right, so
Go ahead and
bumping
bump.
out. That's as far out as we go.
Roger.
You want to wrist up a little bit,
Yeah.
you're caught on the box.
Caught on that side to the box too. Shit. Might just go for E.
Okay.
This way I don't want to just lose the associate.
It's stuck on your claw.
Yeah, I better grab that thing again.
Wrist rotate, roll just a little bit. Keep wrist rolling. Other way.
Yeah. Get off.
Still on.
Yeah.
Wrist roll back just a little bit. Yep. Okay, and see if you can get your claws just over into A and slide down. Right, so you're going to scrape it and it should fall into Echo.
Yeah. So you're saying.
Nice.
Get there.
Nice.
Finally.
There we go. Nice.
Great job.
Way to go.
Nice.
How to get
Fun.
myself off of this. Sorry,
Yep,
one
you're
second.
hooked.
Stand by.
Yep.
Get the gangly jaws out of here.
Yep. Closing it, and then I will re-enable your thruster.
Sure thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.